Here we are with another 5 minutes of mobility with Coach Nate. We are going to hit some upper body stretches today. So you can see I've got the band hooked up off of the rig. You could have a band, a towel, a sweatshirt, almost anything, piece of rope tied to a tree branch, a shelving unit, a hook in the ceiling, just about anything that's solid enough for you to put a little bit of pressure on, okay? Band is the best because we get a little bit of resistance and some stretch. So we're in the lat stretch here. You can see that I've got my hand hooked in. I was straight and square, but I can elongate that stretch. You see how I've opened up the leg. Now from hand to shoulder to hip to foot is a nice long line. You'll notice also that I'm trying to externally rotate my hand most of the time. So here I internally rotate slightly and get a nice elongated stretch through the full lat, moving my head around to get a little bit of neck stretch. But whenever I'm in the straight stretch, I'm trying to keep an externally rotated, so thumb to the outside position. That's going to get those muscle fibers stretched out in the angles that they need the most, okay? They go the path of least resistance all the time. As we turn around, we're letting the hand relax. We're going to get into the pec and a little bit of the shoulder here. So it looks like I'm in a throwing position. My right hand is being stretched, so my right leg is back for balance. I can dig around into the pec and shoulder, turn the head away to get a little bit more neck. As I reach through there, it changes the angle on the pec. As I come over top a little more, it's maybe more tricep. Again, I feel a really good neck stretch in here as I lean around myself. You can test that out on yours. As the elbow comes down, it's different tricep or pec. We go over the head here, and now we're into the tricep a little bit more. Again, it's touching the lat fibers. Just working on those angles just a little bit. We're going to do 1 minute on each of 3 different stretches on each side. I always like to come back and finish with a little more pec as I feel like I've loosened up those other sections. As I rotate my hand over there, so I get a nice straight arm stretch. This is getting the bicep in the front of the deltoid, the anterior deltoid. If I keep that straight, you can see I rotate the humerus around a little bit. That just gives me some stretch in the bicep. And then I fold back into the bully. So you can see that my shoulder's pretty tight on this side. It's my dominant hand. It's pretty common that your dominant side is less flexible in the bully position. It's because it's a position that you do a lot of throwing in. If you need to, just back up as I did there. It takes off some of the stretch. If you need more, just walk forward. We want to keep the shoulder back as I just set. If you lay forward like this, that's not a good thing. We should be nice and straight, trying to keep the shoulder blade back in a nice stretching position. And as always, when I'm getting my shoulders, I usually try to get the neck involved just a little bit. I'll kind of finish off with a little bit more bicep in those last 10 seconds. I really like this stretch through the deltoid and the bicep tendon. A lot of people that have shoulder problems, it's actually from the bicep tendon pressing against all the other muscles in that same region. So if your shoulder's bugging you, work on your biceps a little bit more. It might help loosen them. It's a pretty common issue with people pulling too early in the clean and jerk and the snatch, especially if you're not utilizing the hook grip. Again, you can see I'm externally rotating that arm, staying nice and straight and square in the hips. My hand wants to internally rotate, but I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't turn itself in. That's the path of least resistance, and I want to make sure that I'm stretching through the parts that need the stretch. Again, if I reach that leg around, I'll allow myself to internally rotate a little bit here. It really elongates the whole side from heel to hip to lat all the way up to the hand. Getting a really nice stretch as you just work around the corners, just like all the videos we've posted. A little bit of activity during the stretch is a good thing. You're working into those dark corners, finding the dirty spots, trying to loosen them all up. And again, I always finish the way I start, come back into a straight lat. We turn open. This is my non-dominant side, so again, it looks like I'm throwing a ball with the left hand. Once again, lean the head and neck and shoulders over to the side just to try to elongate through the scalenes and the neck and everything. But I'm mostly focusing on the pec position here. Again, rotate that shoulder a little bit, get the rotator cuff moving, find the dark spots where it's the most inflexible. Up over the top as I lean over towards us, I'm getting a little bit more lat and oblique. Some tricep in there. I'll come back and finish. This shoulder's the one that's been the tightest for me, so I like to find the deep, dark corners as I dig around into it. I'll move through, making sure that pain isn't too great there. I don't want major pain. I just want a little bit of a good stretch as I move through all the different positions. Good. We've turned this one into the bully. We're in the straight arm bully right now. Again, hitting the bicep tendon into the shoulder. It'll feel like a lot in the shoulder. If I can rotate that elbow just a bit, I'll feel more in the bicep. And once again, I turn my head away to get that neck involved. I try to relax my hand on the band so I'm not squeezing it. That's why it's around my wrist in a good spot. And as I step back into the bully, you might not be able to see it from this angle, but I am better able to keep my shoulder nice and square with my non-dominant side, as I haven't done as much throwing throughout my life with that hand. I'll sometimes reach across and massage it, continue to work the neck, trying to keep this position. That looks really weird. My hand's coming out the back of my body. I've never seen that angle before. Little tip for you. Again, step out to where I finished, get a little bit more bicep, try to roll the shoulder in and down to really stretch that out. As it starts to ease, I'll then take a break here and start to rest.
There you go, folks. Another 6 minutes, 3 stretches per side, and we got all through the shoulder girdle, loosening us up either before our workout or loosening it up afterwards so that we're not too stiff the next day. Good job.